Hey cyclists, before I start with my review, just a little note to all those who speak German. Wenn ihr diese Review in deutscher Sprache hören wollt, ich packe euch den Link hier rein, dann guckt euch diese Review gern in deutscher Sprache an. Hello cyclists, have a look at this black beauty. It's the S1 from EVIE. If you haven't heard from EVIE, I would say they're very interesting, very disruptive bike manufacturer, and they launched the S1 and the T1. And as you know, of course, it is an e-bike, but I mean, the first question, if you're looking for an e-bike, in this case, a commuter bike, I would highly recommend to get through your everyday and ask, what kind of bike am I looking for? And the S1 could be a really cool companion for you if you do commute a lot. Well, the sitting position is a bit more sportive, so you lean a bit more to the front, as I prefer a bit more upright sitting position, but it's not too sportive, so you see what is happening around you. But there is some weight on your wrists and on your shoulders. If you not only commute to work, but also have to carry your backpack with your laptop and maybe some groceries, then the Urban Warrior package is what you need, because it comes with a rear rack, with a front rack and with a rear rack. And to be honest, up to now I didn't have to use the rear rack, so I was totally fine with the front rack. As for me, every now and then I did put my backpack in the front basket, but I had to fix it with an extra elastic strap. Just, you know, to be on the safe side, because there's my laptop inside. It is an e-bike and the motor is located in the rear hub. It has 45 Newton meters of torque. Eevee said it's an own production, the motor, and the 45 Newton meters give you a lot of acceleration. So it's very sportive and very agile. Every now and then I have the feeling that the motor took like 1.5, maybe 2 seconds to really keep going. So especially when you cycle inclines, it was a bit annoying sometimes, because it just took this few seconds until the motor really kicked in. But you do have in total 5 modes of pedal assistance, and those different levels are really interesting, because I actually, to be honest, was cycling in mode 2 most of the time, because 3, 4 and especially 5 are super powerful. Then especially when you cycle, you're not so used to cycling an e-bike and you cycle a curve, like when you kick the pedal and you're in level 5, it really gives you this extra notch, and if you're not used to it, it can be a bit tricky. It has a torque sensor. What does a torque sensor do? So the moment you push the pedal and you give some power to the pedal, you get more support from the motor. And the torque sensor feels how much power you put into the pedal, and the more support you get, which gives you actually a very natural riding experience. So I would always recommend to look, if you're looking for an e-bike, if the bike has a torque sensor. Every e-bike comes, of course, with a battery, and this is a very important question if you're looking for an e-bike. Does the battery has to be taken out? Because this one here is integrated and you cannot take out the battery. Therefore, you do have to bring the bike to the socket in order to charge it. And the battery has 346 watt-hours, which gives you a range of, I would say, between 60 and 80 kilometers. Always depending on how you pedal, so how much support you want and how heavy you are, and maybe sometimes if there is strong wind you have to cycle against. It takes up to 3 hours to fully charge the battery. And now let's come to the cool things, the smartness, and also a part that I really think is super cool, because the display is integrated into the stem. And there you can see, it feels a bit like maybe cycling a little rocket ship or a very futuristic car, because you have all the information you need, or I would say you need, like how fast you are and what level of pedal assistant you're in, how the battery is charged, and you can switch through different other menu possibilities if you want to. And you do that with this little remote that is located just close to the little bell that looks like a knock oi bell. There you can switch on and off the bicycle. You can choose between the different modes of pedal assistance. With this e-bike, you easily reach the 25 kilometers that are allowed. That's why the motor has 250 watts. But to be honest, I only pushed the pedal a couple of times, and when I did check the display, I was a bit astonished and surprised that I was already cycling 26, 28 kilometers. So this bike is really for someone who loves to cycle fast and is a bit sportive. Also, a reason why you easily reach the 25 or even more kilometers per hour is because you do have 9 gears, and Eevee did choose the Shimano Altus gearing system. And to be honest, most of the time I was cycling in gear 5, 6 or 7 because, yeah, there are not so many inclines during my commute. But I was, like, as I said, super easily reached the 25 kilometers or went even faster. So this isn't a problem with this gearing system. Also super important are of course the brakes, and Eevee did choose hydraulic disc brakes that worked perfectly for me. Even when I was cycling super fast and it was raining, which it does a lot in Hamburg, I felt always super safe and I stopped immediately. And I have to say, and this is like not only for the braking system but for the whole bicycle, everything is pitch black and everything is branded beautifully. So I really like the name Eevee. It's like written like the female name, but it also is like, I would say, like electric vehicle. And you find the branding on the bike, on the little brake levers, on the frame, also on the bike stand. I would say Eevee did a very beautiful job concerning the design and the branding. A little detail that I really like design-wise is if you have a closer look at the quick release in the front, it is purple. So this whole pitch black bicycle has this little colorful, teeny tiny spot. Well, quick releases, there are two. Actually one in the front and also like the saddle clamp is a quick release. You have to keep that in mind if you secure your bicycle. Maybe someone else sees it and the quick release as well as the saddle, for example in Hamburg, could be gone within an instant. The bike comes with a bike stand and with fenders that are super sturdy, and like everything, every little screw is also pitch black. Also very important, of course, are the lights, and you switch them on this little remote. You push the button for the higher modes of pedal assistance for a couple of seconds and the front and the rear light is switched on. I want to give you some more detail on the sitting position and the riding experience. The handlebars are super broad. They almost feel like from a mountain bike. So for me it was not so comfortable, but I know especially for those who are maybe used to mountain bikes will love it. And also Eevee did choose ergo grips, so you do have a bit more space for your wrists. The saddle, as the sitting position is more not so upright but a bit more to the front, you're leaning forward, is of course super narrow, but I found it very, very comfortable even when I was cycling longer tours. The frame is an aluminium frame, so this is very stiff and you do not have any suspension, and there is no suspension fork. But as the tires are a bit wider, they give you a bit of suspension, and even when I was cycling over cobblestone, it wasn't bothering me too much. And the bicycle is smart, of course. There is an app, and within the app you can lock and unlock your bicycle, which is pretty cool because you can connect your bicycle via Bluetooth to the app. And if you don't want to use the app, you can use a card. So the bicycle that you have to order online comes in a big box, and there are of course some accessories, but also like an owner's card where you can connect the bicycle and 4 key cards in total. Because you can share this bicycle with up to 4 cyclists, which is pretty cool because within our family there were some especially male cyclists that were super happy to test this bike as well. Also pretty cool is that there is a GPS tracking that you have to buy. It's a subscription model, but with that you can see always where your bicycle is. So in case it gets stolen or you don't know where you left your bike the other night, you can easily track it. And there is an integrated alarm. So if someone moves your bicycle without allowance, there will be a noise. But I would always recommend to get a second lock just to be sure on the safe side, because this bicycle is really beautiful. As I said, you order the bicycle online and then it comes with a big box. It took me like 20, maybe 30 minutes to install everything, especially with the Urban Warrior package, but it gives you a very cool manual so you don't get lost during assembling the bicycle. And I would highly recommend to check out the communication channels of Eevee, like the website, Instagram, because every now and then they do have a promotion, and I would say the prices vary plus minus 2,000 euros. You do have two different frame models. The S1 this year, this Black Beauty, is for cyclists from 165 up to 210 centimeters. The T1 is like a step-through model from 155 up to 190 centimeters. And as you can see, the S1 comes in a different frame color. So if you're looking for a commuter bike that is designed very well and that is sportive and gives you the opportunity to carry a lot, then I would say the S1 and the T1 could definitely be a choice for you, especially when you have a closer look at the price.